Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Port Angeles on another beautiful Thursday evening. We are doing a little different format than we did for the rest of the year. So last month I was inspired to do something a little different. So the way that our gatherings go is we sing a little bit, we have a little space of silence, we have a reading, then the little breath of silence after the reading, and if I feel inspired to comment on the reading, I will. If you feel inspired to comment on the reading, I invite you to do that. So it's a little like a Quaker meeting in that if someone feels moved to talk, they talk. So there's no right or wrong answers, and we are filming this because we are on our local public access station, but no one will see you. You're all
filming you.
We're filming me, yes. So they'll hear you, but they won't see you. So you have a total anonymity in anything that you say. So as we begin with the reading of our vision and our mission, which is inside of the program on the folded part on the inside flap of the folded part of the program. You'll want to keep those programs handy because we're singing a lot, the words are all in there, and the order of service is there, so you can kind of get a sense of what's going on. So this gathering is a place of song vibration, and the vibration of silence, and the vibration of peace, and the vibration of community. That's really what this gathering is all about. So, our vision. We are an open, safe, creative, and affirming spiritual community where we experience divine love and connection every day. Our mission. Through spiritual, artistic, and social gatherings, we experience and express divine love. Our intentions create ripples of compassion into the world. Just a couple of brief announcements. We have a class. Actually, I'm going to talk about two classes. One is not in your program. This is being put on, sponsored by the Interfaith Community of Clallam County, which we are a part of. And it's an 8-week class called Explore Interfaith. Every week is at a different community location, many of them local churches, one of them will be here, one is at a land trust building, one is at the Sklallam Tribe Heritage Center. So you get a chance to go to many different spiritual centers and other community areas, and each class is also taught by a different spiritual leader in the community or a lay leader in the community, who all are involved in interfaith. So it's a great class. We're both mostly doing it for the leadership of the interfaith community because we want to discover how we can deepen in this idea, and we decided to throw it open to the class. It is a college curriculum that we are adapting for this purpose, and it's free. So pick up a flyer on your way out. I invite you to check it out. Absolutely come to the first class and see if it feels like something that you might want to dive more deeply into. There's suggested homework, but there's nothing that's mandatory. It's just really a space for us to explore what does it mean to be a community that is welcoming and accepting to all. So that's something that's coming up next week, starting on next Tuesday. And next Saturday is my playground class that begins on Saturday for 6 weeks, and this is where we can get the inner critic to be quiet, or quieter, and at least quieter, and let that more authentic and spontaneous self that really knows what to do, and tapping into that inner wisdom of who we really are, let that come out and be more visible in the world. So we use a lot of play, a lot of fun, and a lot of grounding to achieve that purpose. And that class is only $10 is a class, so it's a great deal. And Reverend Kimberly,
That's me.
that's you, yay! And this is coming up in October. She's doing a one-day workshop called Angel Activations, and if you'd like to know more about that, there's a flyer on the back table on that side. You can also talk to her afterwards, and that's going to be here on October 14th, and that will be in the barn. So that is all of our announcements. Take a breath. Let all the data go. Now it's time we sink in and really deepen in this presence. So our opening song is In the Stillness, and that is on the first side of the folded part of your program. And you'll learn it quickly if you don't know it. Don't worry. Here we go. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is love, grace. In the stillness of this moment there is grace, there is grace. In the stillness of this moment, there is grace, there is grace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment, there is grace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace, there is peace, there is peace, there is peace, there is peace. One more. There is peace. So take a breath. Just allow that peace and love and grace and all of it to sink in. As Reverend Clancy comes up, she will give us a reading and an opening prayer.
Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind and Spirit, wrote a number of books, and one is called Living the Science of Mind. The quote tonight is from that. Each individual must interpret the universe for themselves, since they have to interpret it to themselves. The universe can interpret itself for them only by interpreting itself through them. Sounds complicated, doesn't it? God can give us only what we take. And the taking is a self-expression of God in us, not something other or different from God. Not something which has succeeded in passing a dividing line, but itself is God. Itself is God. Let's take that into contemplation for a moment. Opening to that limitless potential of spirit, that which is always available, like called by so many names: love, the universe, itself, God, all of it. That which is powerful, which is present, which is love, which is wisdom, always moving in and through all of its creations, so must be here now, in and through everything it has created. Recognizing that, celebrating that, I affirm and know that all beyond any conditions, any data, any information, any facts, that with Spirit all is well. And the Spirit within, love, at peace. It moves through this gathering, it moves through everyone wherever they are. And I'm so grateful to know this truth and speak this truth, because my words spoken carry power. There's a principle that says, as I speak, it is done. That is the way it works. Like seeds that are planted. That's the seeds that are planted are those that grow. In this recognition, in this celebration of life, we simply let it be. And so it is.
And so it is.
I am love. I am light. I am peace. I am whole. I am joy. I am grace. I am love. I am light. I am peace. I am whole. I am joy. I am grace. I am love. I am light. I am peace. I am whole. I We are thinking, willing, knowing, conscious centers of life. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us a creative something. Call it what you will. The sum total of all our thought, will, purpose, and belief creates a tendency in this law that causes it to react to us according to the sum total of that belief. We are surrounded by, immersed in, and there is flowing through us this creative something. All the great spiritual teachers have said the same. As you believe, so it is done, through and as you. All of them have spread this wisdom. There is this golden rule that runs through as a thread through every belief tradition. What you put out comes back. My favorite part of that quote is about the tendency of our thoughts. So it's not every thought we ever have that comes back to us. That would be terrifying, right? Yes, that would be terrifying. Because all of us have had those thoughts that are not as productive, or Ernest Holmes says, preferred. He calls things, instead of positive or negative, he says preferred or non-preferred. And I like that a lot. Takes away some of the judgment. Because we don't really know what is for us. I believe everything is for us, but we don't really know what is good or bad. But thinking makes it so. So this idea that it is the tendency of our thoughts, that's something that I can work with. This philosophy that we believe in here is called science of mind. And I like this idea that it is a scientific process. Makes my left brain really happy. Because it doesn't say believe what I say. It says practice. Try it in your own life. See the results. Do an experiment. And so, again, every spiritual teacher has said this, and there's a book, eventually I'll do a class on it, called E equals MC squared. And it's all about this idea that what we put out comes back. So one of the first experiments, it's all full of these simple little experiments. One of the first experiments in the book is, think of a car, say red Volkswagen. And maybe you haven't seen any red Volkswagens lately. But put your attention on a red Volkswagen and then go driving about in the world. And see how many red Volkswagens start to pop up in your vision. Suddenly there will be a multitude of red Volkswagens. So where we put our attention, that's what shows up more frequently. The tendency of our thinking. When I really dove into this spiritual life, we've always been in a spiritual life. We can never be any more spiritual than we are in this moment. When I first began to discover this spiritual life that's running through and as me, I began to practice consciously shifting my thoughts. I've always been a pretty positive person. I've always had a real innate sense of buoyancy. I might sink to the bottom, but I buoy back up again. And I noticed I had some through lines that were consistent in my life that I consciously began to change, to shift to a more preferred experience. I got really aware of my languaging. So instead of I can't do that, I choose not to do that. That was a real simple shift. And especially around money, oh, I can't afford that. I choose not to spend my money on that. Simple. But it shifted dramatically my consciousness, and it shifted dramatically the outpicturing in my life of my abundance quotient. So that's one small example. Does anybody have a good example in your life where you've noticed you began to shift the tendency of your thinking, the tendency of your speech to something different, and you started to see a different result in your life? Anybody have that experience? Or is anyone willing to share that experience? Because I know you've all had it. You can't fool me.
Instead of I got to go to work, I get to.
Ah,
It really changed the way I approached where I was going, anywhere I was going that I maybe didn't feel exactly like I wanted to.
Mhm.
It changed the word, and it really changed the attitude, and almost like the structure of it.
yes, absolutely.
It became more of a grateful place to be. Even the place was more welcoming.
Right, isn't that weird how that happens? Yeah, or how we say how usual. Yeah, the person that was a pain in the patootie, when we start showing up differently, in gratitude, in grace, in some sense of I get to, suddenly they started being nicer all of a sudden. What's going on with that? We don't have to figure it all out, we just get to be recipients of this beautiful thing. So I love this idea, that there is this something, this creative, infinitely creative something moving through each one of us. And the more we become conscious of it, the more it shows up in tangible ways in our life. And we can pay attention to the tendency of our thoughts. And if we have people that we love and trust and feel safe with, we might even enroll them as my beautiful friend here says, to be an Abila buddy, to say, if you catch me saying negative things, I don't have, there's not enough, I'm not good, stuff like that, then I give you permission to just go, really? Is that true? Or something to that effect, to help catch us when we forget. Because we forget. We're human. We get caught in a spiral and we forget.
I had friends years ago, we made a deal that if we should on somebody, you should do that, or you ought to do that, or you must do that, that we literally had to reach in our pocket and take out a coin and put it in this funny little bank. And we did that every time we were together. And then we all agreed that the money would go to the kids' group at church or whatever it was. Pretty soon, if you should on yourself, it cost you even more.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And then pretty soon they start to say, it would be a really nice idea if we stopped at the next gas station, or whatever it was. Because it was a game, but it was like a brain flip.
Yes.
And we made a fun out of it instead of, well, you shouldn't, oh, wait a minute.
That doesn't work. I put double money in. You shouldn't should. Wait, that's a double should. Is that a double negative? No. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a breath. So when we begin to become conscious, we can be a light. So that is our next song. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world.
It's just repetitive.
I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. We do that again. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. Do I again. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. Find somebody and sing you to them. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world. You are a light. You are a light. You are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light. Here we go. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. That's so true. We are a light. We are a light. We are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. Now get quiet and take this right inside back to the eye. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. Oh, that was me. Wait. I am a light. That was me. I am a light. I am a light in this world. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. And I shine. And I shine. And I shine so bright. Let us restate our principle. We are surrounded by an infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes more fully conscious of its own being. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. As it passes into our being, it automatically becomes the law of our lives. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Therefore, we should have faith in it. He's shooting on us. Therefore, it might be a good idea if we have faith in it and its desires and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. I'm going to say that again, that's good. Therefore, it would be a good idea to have faith in it and its desires and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. Since it must pass through our consciousness to operate for us, we must be conscious that it is doing so. Ernest was very absolute.
Can you read the first part of that again?
I would be happy to. Let us restate our principle. We are surrounded by an infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes more fully conscious of its own being. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. As it passes into our being, it automatically becomes the law of our lives. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Therefore, it's a good idea to have faith in it, and its desires, and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. Since it must pass through our consciousness to operate for us, we must be conscious that it is doing so. The law is always working. The law is always working. We, as conscious beings, have the amazing ability to truncate that law, to chop it off in its tracks, to be unaware that it is operating in our life, and therefore not reap the benefits of it in our life. Does that make sense? We can choose to separate ourselves from the one in consciousness. Now, we can't in actuality. We cannot separate ourselves from the one in actuality because it is everything that we are. But in consciousness, we can separate ourselves from the one. That has been the cause of all evil in the world, is this sense of being separate from this beautiful creative intelligence. I know how bereft I felt when I felt separate from my beloveds in this physical form. When I separated myself through physical distance or through mental separation, when I'm stuck in my stuff, that there is a pain that happens when I feel separate, apart from. And so when we begin to become conscious of this beautiful, infinite power, and that we are it, and it is through and as us, I know for me, when I've gotten caught in some bad, dark place, the dark night of the soul, and I felt separate, well, that applies to everybody else but not me, which is ridiculous, and yet I've gone there. There's this pain of feeling separate from the one, from this divine presence. And it's only when I sort of drag myself back with the aid of people who love me and my prayer practitioners and those spiritual teachers that I go to, whether it's in person or on the phone or in a book, and I pull myself back into this awareness of my oneness, that pain subsides and that I remember who I really am. The beloved of the beloved. Not a child of God. I know that we've used that term, and that term is used a lot. I'm a child of God, but that implies some parental thing. I like this idea of being the beloved, because if we are the beloved of the beloved, we have community property, and we share in everything. And that's cool. I like that a lot. And it gives a sense of equality and evenness. We are not individually all of the one, and all of the one is us. It's a strange dichotomy, and I love it. Take a breath. Holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am. Holy, holy. I am holy, yes, I am. We repeat that again. Holy, 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 holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am. Precious. Put your hand on your heart. Precious, 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 precious is the I am. Precious, yes, I am. Worthy. Put your hand on your solar plexus. Worthy, 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 worthy is the I am. Worthy, yes, I am. Sacred, 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 sacred is the I am. Sacred, yes, I am. Precious is the I am. Precious is the I am. Precious, yes, I am. Worthy. Worthy is the I am. Worthy, yes, I am. Holy is the I am. Holy is the I am. Holy, yes, I am. Holy, yes, I am. Holy, yes, I am. And again. Holy, yes, I am. This is our textbook that we use. It's called The Science of Mind. We nowadays call our spiritual philosophy The Science of Mind and Spirit for a number of reasons. And I love this book. And in the back, towards the back, there are a whole lot of brief meditations for self-help. And I'm going to read one. And then we will do an affirmation. And then we will do our conscious giving. And then we'll do our closing song. So this one is called One with Perfect Action. So I would like you to think about something that's moving within you, something that's pushing you, nudging you, pulling you forward to do, to be, to experience, or to express. Something that maybe you feel like, oh, this is too hard, or I don't know how that's going to happen, or all of the yeah buts that we get stuck in. So use this as something to move you forward, move us all forward. I am one with perfect action. Everything that I do, say, or think is quickened into action through this right understanding and this correct knowing. The harmonious action of the great whole operates through me now and at all times. I am carried along by this right action and am compelled to do the right thing at the right time. There is nothing in me that can hinder this action from flowing through me. The action of God is the only action. I am carried along by this right action and am compelled to do the right thing at the right time. This month, our theme is love as community service. So our affirmation, love as community service, our affirmation has to do with that. So I invite you to say this out loud if you choose. I seek out ways to give love, receive love, and be love through service to my community. We practice conscious giving here. This is part of the flow of life. We give and we receive. We are claiming our abundance by the gifts that we give in our world, tangible and intangible. So if you have a tangible gift you're choosing to give this evening, I invite you to place it on your heart. If you're giving cash and you'd like us to track that, we do have envelopes, but we can take care of that afterwards. And we only track it for your tax purposes. So if you're getting a tangible gift this evening, I just invite you to put a little extra love in there. If you're giving an intangible gift, you can drop that in the bowl as well. I'm going to send that bowl right around. So we have a conscious giving affirmation. Thank you. And I invite you to say that with me as well. I am open to give. I am open to receive. I am grateful to be in the flow of life through and as me. Thank you for these gifts. Know that they go through this center and out into the greater world to express and be and do. This last month we give a portion of all of our gifts into our home office because they support us in many ways, but we also take 5% and we send it out into local organizations that are doing good, or if there's an immediate need in the world, like hurricanes and fire. So this last month we gave our gift to Unity of Houston, which is acting as a kind of a collection point for all of the organizations, Unity and Centers for Spiritual Living, to send money to Unity of Houston, and they see where the immediate needs are that can be best served. So that is where our tithe for the last month went to, and our September giving is going to, Pennies for Quarters, which is an organization here in town that is looking to build affordable, inexpensive housing for veterans. So our closing song is A Blessing to the World. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I want you to stand up. Let's stand up. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and all I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and all you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and all we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. Is a blessing, is a blessing to the world. Is a blessing, is a blessing to the world. Happy Rosh Hashanah to those that are celebrating Rosh Hashanah at this time. Happy Thursday, and we hope to see you again real soon. There's hot tea and snacks in the back. We invite you to stay, collect a hug or two or three, say hi, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you all those out there. Bye. you.